Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Avanti Wellness Podcast, hosted by me, Lydia Smith, aka Lydia. I'm embarking on my own transformational journey, and my intention is to inspire, inform, and support you all along the way. My hope is that we are all learning something new with each episode. So let's meet today's guest. Hi there, everyone. It's Lydia. And real quick, I just want to pop in here before the episode gets started and either inform you or remind you that I have a YouTube channel, Avanti Wellness Podcast, where I go on daily sometimes. I've been doing rebounding for the last year, and I'm on day 316 so far. My goal is to make it to 365, so I'm almost there. But I also do book reviews, and I talk about different products that I'm trying out and express my experience with them. And I'm a lot more connected on a daily and weekly basis over on YouTube. So join me over there. Just search Avanti Wellness Podcast and you'll see the same butterfly logo that you see on the podcast Audible sites, as well as on Facebook. We're building a motivational and support group. It's also called Avanti Wellness. So join us over there, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, everyone. It's Lydia with the Avanti Wellness Podcast and YouTube channel. And today our guest is Lynn Power. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, how are you, Lydia? So nice to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here. This is fun. I love to introduce people to new concepts, ideas, products, things that are near and dear to my heart, plant-based items, and that's where your category falls under. And I've never had a conversation about shampoo and conditioner before, so this is going to be fun.
There's a first for everything, right?
That's right. That's right. Where in the United States are you?
I'm actually in Palm Springs, California.
Nice. Is the weather pretty today? What is it, in the 70s?
It's actually, yeah, it's not as crazy. I mean, obviously Palm Springs in the summer is insane, but today is quite lovely. It's like 90.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, 90. Did you just say 90? That's hot.
I know, but in the summer it's like 120. So
because it's like desert, right? Over there?
It's desert. So, to us 90 feels great.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking you were like nice and cool 70 today, but I guess not.
No.
You're as hot as we are here. I'm in Houston, by the way, so it gets hot. Mm-hmm. We have hurricanes and all kinds of stuff going on down here.
Oh my gosh, always something.
Yes. Well, we'll get started. So will you give everyone kind of an introduction and overview? First, give us a little introduction about you and how you got into your business, and tell us a little bit about your business, and then we'll just start asking questions.
Yeah, sure. So I actually spent about 30 years in the advertising world. I had kind of fallen into that. Wasn't my major or anything like that, but I loved it and started in Chicago, moved to New York, worked at a lot of big agencies, and I started running big agencies. And after I was doing it for, many years, I just felt a little bit far removed from what I loved about the business, which is using creativity as a business tool and a business driver. And I wasn't doing that because my job had become incredibly bureaucratic, which people always think the CEO job is really sexy. And I'm here to tell you, no, not so much. Because I was dealing with a lot of, HR issues and legal issues and finance meetings. And not that there's anything wrong with the finance people, but it's just not really my jam. So I left in 2018, met my co-founder, James. He'd been working on our formulas for almost a decade. And then we decided to launch the business together. Our business is called MASAMI. You can see our little Love MASAMI is our website. Actually, I've got my MASAMI shirt on today.
Oh, that's good. Is that like Japanese? Like, what's the origin?
So my co-founder's husband is named Masahiro, and he's from Japan. Okay. And he's the one that found us our hero ingredient. It's called Mekabu. It's a seaweed that grows in Northeast Japan. which is where he's from. He's from that little town Atsuchi where they had a tsunami in 2011 that almost like flattened that whole area. So yeah, he's a very zen human, a lovely man, and was really the catalyst for figuring out the brand. What we wanted to do is make a brand that solved the number one hair issue, which is hydration, but do it without weighing your hair down, because most products that do hydration or moisturization leave your hair flat, looks greasy, it will look limp, it'll just, and then you feel like you have to wash it because it feels dirty even though it's not, and then it creates this vicious cycle. And we wanted to create products that would hydrate but do it weightlessly. So that's what we've been able to do thanks to our Japanese ocean seaweed.
I love that. And I actually understand that because I have curly hair, but when I put heavy products on it to kind of give the moisture in the hair, it just weighs the curls down and then it goes flat, so
Curly
this will be
hair
nice for me to.
Yeah, for exactly that reason, because people want defined curls. They don't want, and so our products, our products are really good with curls, with actually we work great for any hair type and texture. We did a lot of testing before we launched, but curly hair and even like 4C, like, the coiliest, curliest hair really loves us.
Oh, awesome. Tell us a little bit more about this magic seaweed. I want to learn a little bit about that because I love algae and spirulina and chlorella and all the different sea creatures.
Well, I like talking to somebody who kind of knows a little bit already. So that's just makes it a nice
dialogue,
right? Yeah. Instead of like starting from zero. So our hero ingredient is called Mekabu, and it's actually part of wakame seaweed. Wakame is those long, stringy seaweed. It's brown, and it grows in a number of pockets in the world, but ours is from Northeast Japan. And it grows in the bay there. And the Mekabu is this very nutrient dense. It's almost like the root of the wakame, and it's spiral shaped. So it looks a little odd, looks a little weird, but that's what we use. We harvest it. We have a family-owned seaweed company in Japan that we work with, and all of their products are food grade. So they will plant the Mekabu, which people don't realize that, yes, you actually have to plant it and harvest it, farm it. Yep. And then it's all replenished, and it's all ethically farmed. And then they dry it down for us and powder it down so we can put it in our formulas, and we put it in as a powder so that we can put more of that active ingredient in without, again, the extracts are heavy. And that's what most of the time people use.
That's neat. Before we started to hit record, I was telling you how I was working with a herb company for so long, 23 years. And I've been to the manufacturing plant in California twice. And also they moved to Texas because it was cheaper, as you could probably understand. Yep. And so they moved, I think they bought 1 million square feet of manufacturing. But anyway, my point is, where I'm going with this conversation is, I learned a lot about growing the herbs in Taiwan and then bringing them in containers over here. And then they do a lot of the manufacturing, but he would have to send back some of his herbs that didn't pass his quality assurance. Yeah. And so I was wondering, are you manufacturing over there and bringing the whole the end product shipping here, or are you bringing raw materials into the port of Los Angeles and working in California for your manufacturing?
So we actually manufacture in Chicago. That's where our chemist is. And we do import the Mekabu powder.
Okay.
And then our chemist makes her own organic aloe. Aloe is in all of our products as well. And ours is the highest grade. And then we have other ingredients and extracts and natural things. We have, sweet almond oil and blueberry extract and other things that are also kind of good for your hair, good for your scalp, promote hair health, help with the hydration, help with the Mekabu to just kind of do its thing.
Well, what would you be able to tell us for us getting to use? I mean, I'm totally interested in trying the Mekabu, but what do we want to be expecting out of a seaweed from our product? Is it just the hydration piece, or is there anything else that Mekabu, addresses?
Yeah, I mean, Mekabu is great for scalp health. It nourishes, it does add the hydration. It is super mineral and nutrient dense. So it adds a lot of positive benefits that way as well. We were talking earlier, your scalp is one of the most absorbent parts of your body. And people kind of think, well, what's the big deal? The shampoo is just going to rinse off in the shower, but you're actually scrubbing it into your head. And a lot of
Chemicals.
people, right, are shampooing multiple times a week. So it's one of the routines that you are doing a lot, and a lot of products in the US are still sadly filled with toxic ingredients, whether that's sulfates, parabens, phthalates, other things. There's all sorts of stuff out there, dyes. We don't have any kind of artificial dyes or artificial or synthetic like
Coloring
fragrance.
or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, because that to me is just like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. So it really is about putting together this formula. Now, you asked what kind of makes it different. I mean, one of the things when you're using natural ingredients and you don't have sulfates, because we obviously don't have any of that in our product, is our shampoo doesn't foam up a lot. And, consumers, especially here in the US, are used to loads of suds, squeaky clean. I can't remember which brand it was when I was growing up. Maybe it was called Breck or something that had like, I think I'm older than you, but like,
No.
um,
What about the one with, remember the herbal essence with the
oh, Herbal
girl and the
Essence.
hair,
Yeah, that was,
the green
but
bottle?
there was one brand that used to say you wanted your hair should squeak,
Yeah, that's
squeaky
funny.
clean, that
Squeaky
idea of
clean.
squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And, they also used to tell you had to wash twice. And that's all just a fallacy, by the way. You don't need to wash
Just to
twice.
sell more product.
Yeah, that's just a marketing thing. And you definitely don't want squeaky clean hair. That is actually means that it's stripped of the natural oils and it's actually not good for you. So don't aim for squeaky clean and don't double wash. But we do have to educate our consumers because it's a different experience when you use a product that doesn't have all that stuff in it. They have to kind of adjust their mindset. For example, with our products, our shampoo or conditioner, you use about the size of maybe a quarter, but not you don't need more. Even if you have long hair, you can kind of dilute it a little because it's very thick, and then put it in your hair. But like some people are just so used to overdoing it because they're using products where you need just feels like you need a lot of it. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't. So that's the other benefit of using products that are formulated to be good for you and sustainable and all that stuff. Good ingredients, high quality is most of the time, and I've seen this with skincare too, you can get away with using a lot less. And then we even are told by a lot of our customers say they don't have to wash their hairs often once they start using our product because their hair stays hydrated for several days. And so you end up getting a lot more mileage out of that, what looks like a small bottle
Bottle.
that'll last
Yeah.
people 6 months,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull up your website while we're talking,
Yeah.
and we can look at some of the stuff here so you can tell us what we're looking at. These are the best sellers. That's the shampoo
Yeah.
right there.
Yep. That's everything we have is won awards. All of our products have won awards. Shampoo, conditioner, shine serum, and styling cream. So that's kind of our core line. And then we have large sustainable bottles of the shampoo and
Uh-huh.
conditioner.
Oh, I
And
saw
then
that. Is that the white ones?
those are the pouches that are to fill the
Oh,
bottles, but they're black
uh-huh.
ceramic bottles. So we
Okay.
have,
Oh,
there we go.
like, is that them? Is that them?
Yeah, those are them right there, the Pro Ocean bottles. So those
And
are
you
big. They're
refill them?
32 ounce. They're large.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
but the
Wow.
idea is to try to move people out of plastic, obviously, and which is hard because
Yeah,
people are kind of addicted.
I
But that's,
know. But I love the sustainability concept y'all are trying to get people to move towards.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what we do. And then we just launched a scalp scrubber, which is great because it really activates the low suds that we do have. And then we
I want
launched.
to wait. Let me go to that. Let's show everybody what you're talking about because I saw that,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
I was going to ask you about it. Wait, where is it? Right there,
There,
right?
yep,
The
there's the
wabi
scrubber.
sabi. Okay, let
Wabi
me click
Sabi
on
scalp
it.
scrubber. So that's the scalp scrubber. It's great because it stimulates hair growth. It helps with, if somebody has a lot of flaking or just dryness on their scalp. It also just feels good. So there's a relaxation aspect for sure, but it activates like a low foaming product like ours. This is great because you get suds out of it, which
Uh-huh.
normally, and actually that's it. That's with our shampoo. You can see that's what it looks like when you use it
Wow.
with the scrubber. So you do get more sort of, I guess, the feeling that you're used to with a conventional shampoo that way. But yeah, we wanted to launch that to make it more of a hair care system so that it's simple. You don't have to use a ton of products. In fact, our 4 products are more than enough for almost like 95% of people. You don't have to use, a leave-in conditioner or other
I like
styling
simple.
products. Yeah, no, that was a big driver for us. I did not want complexity. I wanted stuff that was going to work and work for just about everybody. So that's the intent, to keep it.
Yes, and I love your packaging. I'm in marketing too, so
Thank
I love that
you.
green with the silver. Did the Japanese, background and the seaweed, did that all influence, how you were branding your packaging and what have you, the colors?
Yeah, absolutely. We took an approach that I sometimes say is like East meets West, where we try to take some of the principles of Japanese beauty, which are simplicity, fewer ingredients, simpler products,
Natural.
ingredients, exactly, but high performing. And they're very Zen too. Like they have a mindful approach to just how they create products and things. So we wanted to take that and marry that with the demands of New York City, which is where we're from, right? So,
Ah,
like, you live in New York and you need to have products that are going to, you know, deal with humidity, deal with, let's face it, the Karens in New York City, which there are a lot of. You gotta deal with that. So you
I
need a
think, wait, we just have to say there's Karens everywhere in the world,
Karens
right?
everywhere.
Definitely in New York. And I think there's some in California too.
Oh, they're everywhere. But New Yorkers are particularly demanding. I will tell you that from having lived there 25 years. And so we wanted to infuse our brand with the high performance angle that New Yorkers need with the Zen sensibility of Japan and kind of marry those things. And so, yeah, our packaging design was actually done by an award-winning designer named Joe Doucette. He lives in New York as well, but he's done some amazing sustainable projects that are just incredible. He wins a ton of awards, and I think he really captured the essence of what I'm talking about. We also
Yeah.
wanted our products to be gender neutral. That was the other piece. So the green is great because obviously seaweed, but then it
The
looks good in
silver's
the shower.
luxury too. The silver
Yeah.
feels like luxury, right?
Right. And like my husband, my son, they use it, and they feel comfortable. Like, men don't necessarily want to use the pink bottle, but
Yeah.
like this feels very approachable. And our scent is also very just fresh and clean, and it's not overpowering or not perfumey. So that helps too.
I love it. I'm trying to think, what do we need to know about a plant-based shampoo and conditioner and other products that I haven't asked you? What would you like to tell us that I haven't brought up? I mean, is there anything in any other awards, or let's see, have you, you know, do anything, unique that you want everybody to know that makes you totally stand out? I mean, I'm trying to wonder what I should be asking you that's about
Yeah.
shampoo.
Well, okay. So we've got my brand, which I think we talked about quite a bit. But then I went through breast cancer in 2021.
Oh yeah, tell your story. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, hard to be a bald hair care founder for about 9 months. That was tricky because I had, chemo, radiation surgery, the whole thing. Um, and then coming out of that, I actually launched the Conscious Beauty Collective, which is a group of now about 50 indie beauty and wellness brands. And we create a lot of pop-up experiences and retail experiences and co-marketing. And to your point about like, what should people know? Or sometimes people ask me, like, I really do want to clean up my beauty, but where do I start? It can be very daunting because you really have to start to look at ingredients, and there's no common, policy for what that clean means and all that. But one of the reasons we did the Conscious Beauty Collective was to help give consumers an easier way to know, okay, these products are free of sulfates, free of parabens, free of phthalates. They're, sustainably minded. Everyone has their own approach, but we all try to do different things. They're values based. They give back to the community. They're all independent brands. You're supporting small businesses. And that I think is really helpful because there's so much noise, but then a lack of education about what all this actually is or means. And there's so many conflicting things out there that sometimes people just don't want to deal. They just throw their hands up and they're like, I'm just going to keep using what I'm using because it's too complicated. I can't, So this is like one way that we're trying to help people navigate, frankly.
Bring awareness, right? So let me ask that brings to mind a question. So you just shared with us that you had cancer, and would you say that it wasn't until you had the wake up call that you had something that made you look at your life of how you utilized products, or were you already mindful at a younger age trying to avoid health challenges?
I mean, I'm 57, so the cancer was a couple years ago. And at that point, MASAMI had just launched a year before that. So we had already made a concerted effort to create a product that was clean.
Yeah. Were you already into that? Was that something, like you were into since you were in your 30s, or
No,
not
no,
just
no, no.
not
Definitely
just
not.
shampoo, but in general health?
No, I would say not until I was like 50. And I think part of it is I worked on a lot of brands in my advertising career that were not clean. L'Oreal. I mean, you go down the list, there's a bunch of, I worked on
Yeah, we don't have to badmouth anybody.
No,
I
there's
understand. There's
the
plenty of
big mass
chemicals out
brands.
there.
Lots of brands that I was responsible for growing, helping them with their marketing and advertising, but they weren't necessarily clean brands.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm having to sort of atone for those years of promoting those types of products, which we didn't know any better. So in fairness,
Right.
anyone else who worked on those kinds of things, we didn't know that it wasn't good for you. I mean, we're only finding stuff out, and it's always changing. I mean, now there's talk about the EU, which we follow EU standards because it's very thorough. The EU is talking about banning retinols, right? And I'm sure you've used retinols. I've used retinols. Like, it's tricky as somebody who's not steeped in the business to keep up with all this and to know. And a lot of times stuff is out there and people will use it, and then 10 years later it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not so good for you. So I worked on back in the day, NutraSweet was one of my clients when they
Oh,
first launched.
I was
And
gonna say like sweet and loads of neurotoxin, but yeah.
right. And now it's like, that is really not something you want to be putting in your system.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah. There's
ingested
plenty.
a lot of that.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize the energy drinks are killing their brain cells, like the one with the name Bull in it, I don't
Yep.
want to name products, but I mean, that's my opinion. I'm just sharing my opinion. Go do the science. I've just learned that this stuff is not good. And that's why, I mean, I'm not perfect. I do things, but I'm also willing to take responsibility if something does happen. It's like, hey, I chose that and I knew better, so it's a
It's hard
decision.
though when you feel that things are being marketed that aren't good. Why are they being allowed to be sold or marketed the way they are? You know what I mean? You go back to cigarettes, right? Like for years and years, everyone knew that that was not good, but it took a long time for the legislation to catch up to, frankly, what people's guts were telling them already.
Yeah.
So I think beauty is really, really behind, because there's the formulas that you need to kind of be tuned into and aware of, and, you know, read the labels and look things up if you don't know what it is. But then there's also just their overall practices when it comes to, are they fair trade? Are they ethical? Are they replenishing the ingredients that they take from the earth? Are they sustainable? I mean, a lot of times beauty packaging is the worst offender, because most of it ends up in landfill. A lot of it, I shouldn't, you know, it ends up in landfill. It's not pumps. I'll talk about that for a second. You know, everyone likes the convenience of having a pump. And we got a lot of pressure to add pumps to our shampoo and conditioner, even though I'm somebody who's like, you can just unscrew the cap and pour it out. Like, is it really that hard? You really need the pump? But also, I had so many people asking. So we decided to launch pumps, but we charge for them. Not a huge amount. You pay $3 for the pump. The point is not to make the $3. It's to educate people that
de-incentivize people from wanting it. Right.
De-incentivize, and then take that $3 and use it to offset our plastic footprint, so that at least we feel like, okay, if somebody's going to buy that, it's going to most likely end up in a landfill, and we at least want to offset that behavior, and we're going to make it a little bit harder for them to buy it.
Yeah.
But
I worked in the sustainability industry for the last 15 years, and we were one of the companies I marketed was the greenest restaurant in Texas. And we, you know, the restaurant industry is the largest contributor to landfill waste. And there's so many things you can do, like instead of individual ketchup packets that they tend to want to give away because of COVID, you know, you can have a community bottle that everybody goes and uses ketchup out of one bottle. You know, just little things like that just minimize the damage of putting things in the landfill, because, man, it's going to be pretty full in about 40 years.
You know? Oh my God, I know. And then that's our children are going to have to deal with that. But you're right. There are a lot of little behaviors. And so that's, you know, my pump example is just one way of us trying to like go, hey, wait a minute, think before you just demand something or ask for
regular,
you know, because, and also, you know, if you have a choice between buying a product that is a beautiful package, but you're going to throw the package out when it's done, or a package that is also beautiful but refillable, buy the refillable one, you know, like, because there are a lot of great options now with products that are amazing that now have refillable options. People don't like to get hooked in. That's what I hear a lot. You know, customers don't want to feel like, oh, but if I buy the refillable one, then I'm going to feel obligated to refill it and buy. Yeah, that's the point. But they don't want to be.
Well, hopefully you're buying a refillable bottle of a shot of a shampoo you like, you know, like that you're going to keep using. I mean, I'm the kind of person that once I find something, I've been using the same olive oil based lotion skincare for 23 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I haven't found anything that compares it. Yeah, that it compares to. And I'm you know, I'm happy with my skin. I hardly ever wear makeup, and people are always complimenting my skin, because a lot of people don't realize this, but most products use animal rendering plants where they'll pick up roadkill, squeeze it down to oil, you sell the oil back to Mabel, you know, whoever, I'm not going to name any names, but to a, you know, regular makeup place, because all they're looking for is oil. But if you buy a lotion or a face cream or whatever that's plant-based, then your skin is synergistic with plants. And so that's why plants do better on your hair and your skin and your nails, and even ingesting them, as you and I were talking before we started about ingesting phytonutrients, ingesting phytochemicals. And all of that is what we evolved in as a species for millennia. Yeah. So why wouldn't you go back to the root of all creation, right? Plants and humans. It's 100%. A relationship.
It's a very much a harmonious relationship. And just on your supplement thing, this is how the universe kind of sometimes works is I launch a hair product with my seaweed, with Mekabu, and one of the ingredients in the Mekabu is called fucoidan. I don't know how you actually say it in Japanese, but Fucoidan. Fucoidan. But anyway, there are lots of studies in Asia that it actually fights cancer and can kill cancer cells. So it's sold as a supplement and widely taken in Asia, which once I got cancer, I started taking 2 natural supplements, turkey tail mushroom, which I'm sure you
that's
are well
it.
aware.
No, I know. I did a class on mushrooms. That's the one. That's the big one.
That one, and I take fucoidan every day. And this is the weird
like preventative, right? You're doing it to
I do it
prevent
preventative
future.
now because I had a very rare aggressive cancer that has a high likelihood of coming back. And it grew really fast. I had a clean mammogram and ultrasound in March of 2021, and by July it was this big tumor, this large. So nothing showed up on my scans 4 months before.
Yeah.
So my point is, I actually started taking those 2 supplements when I knew that I had something, and I was waiting to get all the the biopsy done, all that stuff done. There's about a month when you're going through a massive amount of tests and all that. And by the time I started chemo, it had shrunk. Now, this was a fast growing aggressive tumor.
Yes,
like
I know.
If I waited another month, I'd be dead. That kind of tumor.
Right. And you shrunk it with plants.
And it shrunk. And my oncologist at the time didn't believe it. She literally was like, there must be a mistake. We must have misread or she blamed it on like the technician. They must have
scanned it wrong.
Like measured it wrong. And because that's not going to happen. Those things aren't going to do that.
I'm glad you did that. The turkey tail for sure. I was in like a serious professionals mushroom class like 2 Januaries ago, and we had breakout rooms, and I had a room with one lady, and she confirmed for me that her husband only used turkey tail, and stage 4 gone. I don't want to say too much because I can't say too much because it's not okay to say that. But her husband had stage 4 cancer, and he used turkey tail, and it was gone. I know. Like, can you
not him, right?
What?
The cancer's gone, not him.
Right. The cancer was gone.
The
and all I'm saying is like, you keep that up because that's legit. It's serious. And I, just as a side note, and then we're going to wrap up because I have that appointment, but a side note for you and the audience is that I worked for 4 years. I worked for a hydroponic farm and a world-renowned cancer center that everyone knows. Like, I think the Princess of Wales came here. What's her name? The William's wife. I can't think of her name. Kate. I heard she was in town. So I think she came here for her chemo. So it's a big one. I'm not going to say names. But they came to our farm and they got for like a little play. Like the lady wanted to do some research on microgreens, broccoli microgreens, because she read that sulforaphane helps with cancer cells. And so she played around. It wasn't an official study. She was just trying to duplicate what she had read. And she got some of our microgreens. And she came back and she was like, absolutely. So I started taking I'm not going to say the brand, but you can look up the only sulforaphane product out there on the market. A lot of people claim to be sulforaphane, but you need to research because there's some that are sulforaphane isolate or something, some other name that's like a derivative of sulforaphane, but get the pure. I'm taking them. I've been taking them as preventative, and I'm really happy with the experience because I don't have anything that I'm aware of. And I mean, it's helping my serotonin. It's helping my dopamine. It's making me happy. It's like doing a lot of great things. And it's just because it's like eating 5 pounds of broccoli in 2 little tiny capsules every day. So who doesn't need 5 pounds of broccoli in their body? That's like a good diet.
Wow, that's cool. All right, I'm going to have to look that one up. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll email you privately. And if you go to any of my videos, you'll see me talking about it. but I didn't want to talk about it necessarily on this particular video recording. So anyway, anything you want to tell us in wrapping up? We're going to have everybody come over to your website and check out your products. I want to figure out which ones. I definitely need a conditioner and something hydrating. So I'll probably buy the shampoo, conditioner, and you have a special hydrating like mask or something for the hair.
We have the conditioner is very thick, and sometimes people do use it as a hair mask, but we also have our styling cream, which is also very thick and hydrating.
Hydrating. Okay, well, I'm not that much into styling, so if I can get away with just the shampoo and conditioner, just try that first.
Absolutely. I think for you, that's probably going to do it. You won't need much else. But yeah, I guess parting thought is just, hey, educate yourself on what you're using in and on your body. If you don't know, ask the brand, ask the manufacturer, and try to clean up your routine.
Yes, it's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, it's challenge to be perfect. It's so not easy. And I don't know if anybody really is, because we're still figuring it all out, right? But we're trying. Yeah.
We're trying.
Yes. Well, it was lovely meeting you. And thank you for coming and sharing with our guests and audience about what y'all are up to over there and how we can better our lives by adding more plants to our routines and our diet, right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye. We've reached the end of this episode. If you'd like to continue with this motivational journey, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss out each time we load a new episode. If you have an inspirational story to share or want to let us know about a potential guest, we'd love to hear about it. Contact us at avantiwellness.com. See you next time, and remember, change is good.